I used to believe that the party was where life happened. Let me tell you how a warehouse that smelled like sweat and lost time, a woman who collected other people's abandoned drinks, and my own reflection finally refusing to dance with me, told me that the party isn't escape, it's amplification. That whatever you bring to the room makes louder. And I had spent 15 years bringing a loneliness so profound that no crowd could ever fill it. My name is Felix. I'm 38 years old. I've been to 4,000 parties, hosted 600, and I remember exactly 3 of them with any clarity. The rest are a blur of noise, chemical courage, and the specific desperation of a man who believed that he could just stay in motion, he would never have to feel still. The old me was momentum, perpetual, exhausting, magnificent momentum. I worked in event production, not the glamorous kind, corporate launches, product unveilings, the manufactured excitement of capitalism's religious ceremonies, but I lived in the after hours, the underground, the spaces where the music was too loud for conversation, where the lights were too dim for recognition, where everyone became anonymous and therefore, I believed, equal. I told myself this was community, connection, the modern tribe, gathered not around fire, but around bass drops, not around story, but around shared substances that dissolved the boundaries between strangers. What I was doing was hiding in plain sight, surrounding myself with bodies so I wouldn't feel my own emptiness, drowning my thoughts in decibels, making myself so visible that no one would notice I was never actually seen. The party was my religion. I arrived early, stayed late, knew every DJ, every promoter, every bathroom that could be escaped to when the crowd became too much or too little. I was the person everyone recognized and no one knew. The familiar face, the guaranteed presence, the one who would always be there because being anywhere else was unbearable. I had no home, not really. A storage unit of furniture I never used, a mailing address for bills I paid automatically, a bed I crashed in when my body finally demanded what my will refused. Home was wherever the night was happening, wherever the music was playing, the people were gathering, the possibility of connection remained eternally, addictively, never quite achieved. The breaking point was a warehouse in Berlin, 2024. A party that had been running for 72 hours when I arrived, that would run for 72 more, that existed in the liminal space between legal and tolerated, between event and endurance test. I was 40 hours in, no sleep, only chemicals, caffeine, alcohol, the occasional pharmaceutical that kept the edges soft and the center numb. I had danced with 200 people, spoken to 50, remembered none of their names, none of their stories, only the vague sensation of having been surrounded by humanity without ever touching it. She found me in a corner, not a romantic corner, a literal corner, where the warehouse's industrial architecture created a space too awkward for dancing, too dark for socializing, perfect for the collapse I was pretending wasn't happening. Her name was Mara. She was 50, maybe 60, dressed in the costume of someone who had been attending these parties before I was born and would continue after I was gone. She was holding 3 abandoned drinks, half-finished cocktails, forgotten beers, the liquid evidence of people who had moved on to other conversations, other substances, other attempts at connection. She said, "I collect them, the abandoned drinks. People start them with such hope, the perfect cocktail, the ideal beer, the specific substance that will make this night matter, then they leave them, forget them, move on to the next possibility. I finish them, not for the alcohol, for the completion. Someone should finish what they start." I didn't understand. I was too tired, too chemically altered, too far from any self that could process metaphor.
"You're dying," she said. Not dramatically, clinically.
I've watched you for years. Different cities, different parties, same face, same movement, same refusal to stop. You're not living at these events. You're avoiding death at them. And the avoidance is killing you faster than any death would. I'm fine, I said. Automatic. The response of someone who has spent decades performing fine. You're not fine. You're a ghost haunting your own life. You arrive before the party starts, leave after it ends, and in between, you become less and less real. I've seen it. The others haven't. They're too busy being ghosts themselves. But I see. I collect abandoned things. It's my nature. She handed me one of the drinks, a warm beer, half-finished, belonging to someone who had moved on and would never return for it. Drink this, she said. Not for the alcohol, for the practice of finishing something, of being present for completion rather than always chasing the next beginning. I drank. It was terrible. Warm, flat, the specific disappointment of something that had been left behind. Now what? I asked. Now you leave, she said. Not dramatically, just leave. Go somewhere quiet, somewhere without music, without a crowd, without the possibility that keeps you running. Find out what's there when the party stops. I left, not because I understood her, but because I was too exhausted to argue, too hollow to continue, too suddenly aware that I had been running on fumes for years and the tank was finally, visibly empty. The silence was torture. I found a hotel. Cheap, anonymous, the kind of place that exists for people who have nowhere else to be. I lay on the bed. No music, no crowd, no chemicals to dissolve the boundaries between myself and the unbearable fact of my own existence. I heard myself for the first time in years. The thoughts I had been drowning, the feelings I had been dancing away from, the specific loneliness of a man who had surrounded himself with thousands of people and never risked being known by any of them. I was afraid, not of death. Death would have been relief. I was afraid of myself, of what I would find in the silence, in the stillness, in the absence of perpetual motion that had defined my entire adult life. I called my sister. We hadn't spoken in 3 years, not because of conflict, because of absence, because I had been too busy partying to maintain relationship, too busy being surrounded to be present with anyone who actually knew me. She answered, cautiously, the hesitation of someone who had learned not to expect my attention. I'm in trouble, I said. Not the trouble of addiction or debt or legal consequence, the deeper trouble, the trouble of having lost myself so completely that I didn't know if recovery was possible. She came, flew across an ocean, arrived at my anonymous hotel, sat with me in the silence I couldn't bear alone. She didn't fix me, didn't advise me, simply witnessed, simply stayed, simply proved that connection didn't require music, didn't require crowd, didn't require the chemical courage I had mistaken for authentic relationship. We talked, not party talk, surface, performance, the exchange of possibility without substance. Real talk about our childhoods, about our father's absence, our mother's exhaustion, the specific wound of learning that love was conditional on performance, on achievement, on being the child who didn't make demands. I had learned to make no demands, to need nothing, to become so self-sufficient, so perpetually present for others that no one would ever see the emptiness underneath. The party was my solution. The place where I could give without receiving, surround without connecting, exist without ever risking the vulnerability of being known.
My sister saw. She had always seen. She had simply stopped trying to reach me because I had made myself unreachable, hidden behind the wall of perpetual motion, the fortress of constant availability that was actually constant absence. You don't have to perform for me, she said. The simple statement that broke something open. You never did. I don't need you to be the life of the party. I need you to be my brother, present, real, boring even, just here. I wept. For hours. The release of decades of performance, of the exhaustion of maintaining a self that had nothing to do with who I actually was, of the grief for all the time I had spent running from a stillness that turned out to be not death, but possibility. The recovery was not dramatic, not cinematic. I didn't become a hermit, a monk, a person who rejected all social connection. I still go to parties, occasionally, carefully, but I go differently. I arrive late, I leave early. I have one drink, maybe two, enough for pleasure, not enough for dissolution. I talk to people, really talk, really listen, really risk being known rather than merely being recognized. I have a home now, small, specific, mine. A kitchen where I cook for friends rather than hosting crowds. A living room where conversation happens at volumes that allow understanding. A bed where I sleep, regularly, deeply, because I am no longer running from the dreams that come in stillness. I work differently. Still in events, but smaller, intentional. Gatherings where connection is the purpose rather than the escape. I design dinners for 12 rather than raves for thousands. I create spaces where people can hear each other, see each other, risk the vulnerability of being known rather than merely being recognized. Mara found me again, not at a party, at a market, ordinary, daylight. She didn't recognize me at first. I was different, slower, present in a way that made me less visible, less familiar, less the ghost she had identified. "You finished something," she said, understanding immediately. "The drink, the party, the running, you completed it." "I'm completing, not finished. The work continues." "The work always continues," she agreed, "but you're doing it now, not running from it. That's the difference." She handed me something, a small glass, empty, one of her collected abandoned drinks, now cleaned, now complete. A reminder that completion is possible, that what you start you can finish, that the party isn't life, it's just one room in a much larger house. I keep it on my shelf, next to photographs of my sister, of friends who know my real name, of moments that happened in silence rather than noise. The glass is empty, but it is full of meaning, the specific weight of something finished, something survived, something finally real. The lesson, if you need it: the party is not life. The crowd is not connection. The noise is not vitality, and the chemicals are not courage. Whatever you bring to the room makes louder. If you bring loneliness, the crowd amplifies it. If you bring emptiness, the music echoes it. If you bring the desperate need to escape yourself, every party becomes a faster treadmill, every night a deeper hole, every morning a more profound exhaustion. The stillness you're running from is not death. It's the only place where you can hear yourself, where you can feel what you actually need, where you can discover that the connection you crave doesn't require a crowd. It requires the courage to be present with one person, fully, without performance, without escape. Stop running. Find the silence. Find the person who will sit with you in it. Sister, friend, stranger who collects abandoned drinks and sees what others miss. Let them witness your collapse. Let them help you build something that doesn't require music to sustain it. The party will always be there, but you don't have to be. You can be somewhere else, somewhere quieter, somewhere real. I'm Felix. I was a ghost haunting my own life. I learned to be still. I learned to be known. I am finally present.